Welcome back everybody to my channel and to mining in Star Citizen in 4.2.0 patch. Hi, I am Rizba the Blade, your personal mining guru, and today we're gonna show you one very great Quantanium rock what I mine, and I also explain you some new things what is different in mining, and also which is a bad thing what we have now, and how you can fight that with some workaround to have more stable and more secure mining. So let's begin. First thing, I'm gonna show you the rock, and as you can see here, it's like little bit over 68 tons, and it's just little bit over 32% of Quantanium. And normally you can see already how my ship is wobbling, all around, right? Which is a very bad thing. And I'm gonna first explain you something, how you can calculate easy how much this rock is supposed to give you, out in Quantanium maximum, right? So if you can pull up maximum, which is the top, what is possible to pull out from this rock. So to calculate that, first what we need to see here is how much its composition, like all combined with all materials in the rock, which is 247.38 ACU. And now we have, the most important percentage is Quantanium, how much you have Quantanium inside the rock. So that's 32, right? Little bit over. So to calculate that, the opposite from 32, from one full 100%, is 67.97%, right? So this 67.97 we need to just reduce from 247.38 ACU, right, in your calculator. So you can do that on your cell phone calculator, doesn't matter, like just pure basic calculator can do that, right? If you don't want to use some sites like Regolith calculator or something like that, right? And when we reduce this 247 ACU minus 67%, almost 68, we're gonna get the actual how much ACU we can pull out from the rock maximum, and this is in this case 79 ACU, little bit over, right? It's pretty simple math. And this is how this calculation, it's showing you exactly how much 32% of Quantanium in this rock would be in the ACU, right, in quantity. And that's maximum, right? This is maximum possible. This is not how much you're gonna actually pull out from the rock. Now when we're done explaining this with calculation, now I'm gonna just show you quickly, what I set up on my ship for this rock. For this type of breaks, normally you need to use all three search modules, active modules, and you need to use Sabir gadget on the rock, because this is almost 70-ton rock, so you can't use wave shift or Bormax, which would be much better thing to use, and which you're always supposed to use whenever you can, and not Sabir, right? Because Sabir doesn't have reduction in instability as a gadget, and you should always use gadgets which they're doing that, they're reducing instability. But unfortunately, in some of these maximum breaks, what you're gonna see here, this is not possible, because these other gadgets are not actually reducing resistance, right? Like Sabir does. Sabir is doing the biggest one, which is 50%. And for example, Bormax is adding resistance 10%, and Waveshift is not adding and not reducing, right? So Sabir needs to be put on in this type of breaks. And now before we're gonna start breaking rock, we're gonna explain how to set up your ship to, reduce almost completely that wobbling thing, what we get now in this new patch 4.2.0. And it's only one way to do it. So why this is happening is because they've said that this is supposed to be like from long time already in the game, and it was in game, it was just not working, right? So now we get this wobbling, when we are in hangars, especially you can see it there, and normally when we're mining with mining ships. And that's the worst possible thing that you can have when you mine, because it messes with your instability. So your laser needs to be strictly straight where you want to put it. If you want to put a little bit more instability, you can put on other part of the rock, but it cannot keep changing between more stable and less stable. This is just, asking for disaster when you're doing something like that. when you still have more power to push, but you don't need it, and this can cause you know to overheat. You can clearly see now how the ship is wobbling, right? It's not steady. And normally this is happening because of thrusters are doing like some turbulence under the ship and we're close to the ground. Even if we're a little bit higher, like little bit, maybe like 5 meters, it's gonna still do it. So what you need to do, you need to point your ship like 45 degrees angle towards the rock, put little bit nose like on the end of the rock up. You see like I'm doing now. So your thruster is gonna be further from the ground. And if you see it now, it's not wobbling anymore. So ship is steady, right? Because we increase the distance between the ground. So front thrusters are still closer a little bit, but if you place your ship like that, it's gonna stop to wobble, right? And in some cases, when you're mining, when you have like a hill, when the rocks are on the hill, right, on the like some edge of the hill, we actually have even more ground lower beneath you, so it's even better. But if you have flat surface, then it's normally a problem, and in this case you need to create this like edge of 45 degrees like you're mining on the hill, right? So your thrusters are away from the floor, and this is how you can fix that for yourself. And this is normally how that works. And now we're gonna start to mine. So I'm gonna just repeat, like we have here 3 surge modules equipped on the Helix size 2 laser, and the Sabir gadget is on the rock. And now we're gonna try to break this rock. So why this is not like a perfect setup is it is perfect for breaking the rock, but it's not perfect for taking the maximum amount of ore out of the rock. And this is because your instability on this type of rock, with equipping this equipment what you have on the mining head and also on the rock as a gadget, it's gonna increase or actually put your instability, like you see it here, over 700, maybe almost 800, right? So this number is abnormal big. So if you have experience, yes, you will able to hold it. You will able to, you know, break the rock to not overheat, right? So everybody at some point gonna get this ability to hold the bar, to play with this bar properly, to not rise it too much. But because of this high instability, we're still losing amount of ore. So it doesn't matter how good you break the rock, you're still losing it, and this is because you didn't lower the instability. So basically how the mechanic works is that you need to actually put all the numbers for example, instability into green. But normally, like in this particular case, what we have in front of us, we couldn't do that. Because if I put gadgets like wave shift, or even worse, Bormax, then I could not break this rock at all, because these two gadgets are not, you know, reducing resistance, with Bormax even increasing it for 10%, right? And Sabir gadget is reducing it by 50%. So that's huge help on this type of rocks. But if this rock would be a little bit smaller, like till around 50 tons, then it would be a much better option to put wave shift or Bormax gadget, right? Because it will be reducing instability, not for you being more safe to mine, not for you to be more accurate and to have perfect break, but to actually reduce instability, to not lose ore or to lose less ore. That's the whole point of these gadgets. And now what you're seeing here, I am actually equipping my front Helix size 2, you know, laser head with one focus 3 module and 2 surges. So this is like my default for front laser head, and this is actually set up which you're gonna be needing if you have rocks so big, and for example you have sometimes maybe 80% Quantanium pieces to break a second time, or maybe even 100, and they're big like 20 tons still, 25 tons, even 30 it could happen, right? So you still need such a big power to actually break them, right? And this is very unstable, and it's always in this type of cases best to put again on the secondary brakes before you're gonna start braking them, again put gadget on the rope, because this is possible to do. Lots of players don't know that. Lots of players know and they don't do it because they think this is unnecessary, but actually it's very necessary, because this is causing you losing more ore when your instability is abnormal high in the red on secondary brakes, and then you're gonna see how your piece is gonna disappear. So in front of you, and you're gonna keep braking, you're gonna just see like poof and it's gone. So that's because of instability. So you didn't do anything wrong. You mine it normally in the green zone, you break it in the green zone, you didn't overheat, but because of huge instability as a number in that secondary piece, you still lose the ore. So this is the main core of problems why people don't understand, you know, when they're looking on calculators, like I'm supposed to get so much and we lose like half or at least 1/3. So this is what is causing it. It's a big instability. So here, for example, where I'm putting wave shift on, I'm not putting it because of bigger green zone, right? Sometimes even that is gonna help much, but it's a whole point to putting it on to reduce instability, to not lose the ore. Not because of you making mistakes, but because how game mechanic work. And you can see me now, I'm gonna try to put bore marks, I think, on this rock up, but I can't. It's just too high. So I'm gonna give up from that, and I'm gonna try to first break, you know, other pieces around. Now we are back in our ship, and I'm on the helix front laser, and I just gonna try to break with helix this part, what you see in front of us. So this is 22 tons with 77% quant. And on this type of rocks, you really need to use helix for that, right? With active modules. And on that part, I put wave shift. And now you can clearly see that instability, right? It's still in the green now. So I'm gonna use surge modules, and it's gonna still stay in the green. It's 160, but it's in the green, right? And when I'm gonna break this part, I actually will not lose anything from this part, right? But we already, this is what I assume, we already lose some pieces when I was breaking the first break on the rock. So even if I get it in the green, when the rock was one whole thing, you know, on the first break, we already lose probably something in the middle, probably disappeared, right? Something like maybe, let's say, 8 to 10 SU maybe of the Quantanium. But here it's gonna be very good break, and it's all, you know, thanks to wave shift, and also thanks to game working properly at that correct moment. Because what is also happening is, because of low game performance, for some ridiculous reason, sometimes these parts, even if you're using like arbor laser with lots of instability drop, even if you're using impact laser, even if you put gadgets on secondary these breaks to break them again, rocks, exactly when they need to break, start to vibrate little bit, they get like little bit of movement, and then they explode with the sound. You hear like shh sound, and when that happens, you lose the pieces. So what is causing that exactly in the game performance, I don't know. But so even if you try to, you know, set up everything perfectly, it's still happening, and it's happening all the time. So, you know, all our, you know, effort to actually reduce the instability and make this, you know, breaks perfectly, it's not paying off all the time, unfortunately. It's paying maybe 2/3 of the time, right? And this is why is this so bad in mining. Now we switch directly to my right laser, which is always Hofstad laser, and I have equipped on that laser two modules, which are Surge and Lifeline. So why this combination? So from recently, I'm starting to, you know, push myself to always reduce this instability. So for Hofstad laser, it's the best to equip Surge for more, you know, power and resistance drop, and to equip lifeline module to reduce 10% instability from offset laser and reduce 10% instability from surge, right? Because laser increases 10, surge increases 10. So then we get on 0 always, right? So we don't have increase or decrease. But if I don't have to use surge, then I have directly decrease 10% of instability with that module, right? So this is what I'm using now constantly, and you're gonna see now when I'm using lifeline, I'm gonna turn it on just like when I fill up 2/3 of the green bar, then you turn it on, because lifeline can only last 15 seconds 3 times like that, right? So this is just to full breaking of the rock. This is not to, you know, help yourself in increasing bars. Sometimes you can if you really want to, right? But the main job of lifeline, it's pure break. So you just use it on the end. And the reason why I have this lifeline module underneath the chin of the laser is because I can easily just switch it with the new one when it falls off, when it's completely used, with new one, right? So usually what you're using, it's maybe like 2 of them per one rock, right? You don't need even more. And on some, like I said before, parts, you're gonna even put wave shift or Bormax gadgets, and in that case you don't have to use lifeline at all, because you know, instability is already gonna be in the green and abnormally low. So this is how this all function. And normally now you can see me here, I'm gonna put the new lifeline module on my offset laser, and you just drop it here on the floor, and with tractor beam you just push it there. So it's like 7-8 meters distance, so it's not problem, you know, to put it from here. That's why it's always best to put lifeline underneath. So when you're setting up modules in your vehicle loaded manager, always the module which is under the chin, like on the bottom, is that module which is last on the bottom in the list for your laser, right? I'm going to show you guys now that you can also exchange the upper module on the side lasers. And you see now my lifeline is gonna be done, it's gonna fall off. But to exchange the side module, like this, in this case, where I'm using surge, you need to use completely this surge to fall off, right? Because you cannot reach it to take it off, you can just reach it to put new one. And now I'm gonna show you how is this done, right? So this is now all unequipped, modules are not on. And now what you need to do, normally you need to go out from the seat, and you see where it's this like 2 placeholders for your feet, right? So if you go towards that exactly on this edge, this is, if you measure from this to the mining head positions for modules, it's exactly 8 meters, right? So now I'm just gonna drop them out here on the floor, both of them. And then I can put first, let's say, lifeline on, right? So when you're putting these modules on, you need to turn this upper on lifeline. You see like a holder. It's now in the like a light green color towards up. And now you stand on that same spot, and if you place it, you're gonna see it says like 8 meters, right? But it's like a little bit more. You can be like maybe 9, between 7 and 9. I'm just showing you where it's exact, like it's on 8 meters, right? And now you just release it with left click, and that's it. And now from side one, so for surge, you see this like pipe looking thing on the up. This needs to be towards you pointed, and like this towards up. And then you turn it when you're holding R with scrolling mouse wheel, like 45 degrees like this. And now again you push it 8 meters, right? If you want to be very accurate, put it 8, and then you're not going to have any trouble. And now you see where it's blueprint showing up. And now you just click left click and you release. And that's it. This is how you can put it on side lasers. Unfortunately, we cannot do that on the front, right? But you can do it on the side one. Now you see I'm mining now this big part, which was the best part with highest percentage. And this is that part where I want to put Bormax, right? And I intentionally will start breaking all the parts around to maybe, you know, like they're gonna break and this part's gonna fall down so I can put Bormax or wave sheet on this part. But nope, it didn't do that. And now I need to break it like this. So you see, I'm still using Hofstade. It's almost 14 tons, and I'm using the Surge module, right? I'm pushing it 100%, and you can see now how it's gonna like rise up fast, right? So you really need to be careful with that. And now I'm gonna hold it, and I'm gonna use Lifeline. And now you see it's in the red, and now it gets in the green. So this is how you're supposed to mine. This would be like a perfect break now, right? And you can see nothing disappeared on this break. But anyway, with all this good breaking, I still not gonna be able to collect the full amount in SU what it's supposed to give. So by the calculation, you know, maximum what you can pull out from this type of rock with these stats, it's maximum 79 SU Quantanium, right? Which you're never gonna pull out so much, right? But that's the maximum, like full limit. And you're gonna see how much we're going to have on the end. So just keep in mind, like we were breaking this rock with Sabir gadget, not with Bormax, not with wave shift, because you really on these sizes you need to put Sabir on. And one thing is reduction in resistance, and other thing is tiny bit little green, which is 50% bigger, but on 2 millimeters or 3 millimeters big green zone, you're increasing, you know, on like let's say 4.5, right? So it's not big, but it can help, right? Sometimes it can really help, because in huge instabilities you always have this problem where, let's say you're holding your bar on 80% power, right? And it's not enough. And if you put 81, it's already too much. So every, you know, single drop of bigger green zone, it can, you know, help you to actually break it in the green and not overheat. So this is unfortunately how it works. And now you can see here I'm already collecting over 60 SCU, 62, 63, I think it's gonna be 64, and yeah, almost 64. So from 64 to 79 is around 15 SU, let's say, right? And we still have on the ground maybe 2, 3. So we lose pretty good 12 SU, which is for TDD selling over 250k. So this is not something for throwing away. And now one more thing what I'm gonna show you before we're gonna go to refinery. So I'm removing half bags and putting in a warehouse. So I'm gonna separately store half bags there to lower the freight elevator down, and then I'm gonna store half on the ship. So why I'm doing that is to even more increase the speed of refining. So I'm gonna reduce it a lot, because here in this time we're selling Quantanium to players. So this Quantanium can be ready as fast as possible for, you know, transport and selling to other players, because normally players now need Quantanium for Wicked Polaris, and I sell you know, already like few thousands of ACUs to other players. So this is how it's done, right? You just put half there, half on the ship, and then you reduce by 1 time your refinery job to be done. So it's very good thing to know and to do it. And now we're finally in the refinery, and now I just want to show you, like, if I would sell that directly, how much that would be. So first I'm checking now the mall, and you can see it here. And in the mall it's 376k, so this is that half part of bags. And now in the station in Checkmate it's 402, right? And all this together is 776k if you really want to direct sell. Now we're going to the refinement consoles. So here you can also select, you know, both. You can select now Checkmate, or you can select ship. Doesn't matter what you select first normally, right? And here we're selecting only Quantanium. select Ferron and get quote. And you see now with Ferron this is done in 5 hours, even if it's like almost 30 ACU here. So I reduced it almost by half, because it would be like maybe 8 to 10, right? So if I'm mining very early, I can actually sell this because of that faster refinement, maybe even same day, right? If I'm gonna play so long, maybe not for 5 hours, but if somebody's gonna ask, I can maybe join to the game and just sell them if they really need it in that time. And you can do it maybe by, divide that by 3. You put like 2 ore pots and then 2 on the side, and then you still have 4 or maybe 3. You can combine that if you really want to do it so fast, right? And now we can see here we have almost like 28.5 on one ticket and 26, almost 27 on other ticket. That altogether is 5,533 yield, which when you remove 2 decimal numbers away, it's basically 55 SEU in quantity of pure refined ore, right? A little bit over it. And if you calculate 55 SEU times 20.6k, this is like some middle selling for TDDs in cities, you can get for this like 1.1 million. Or if you sell to players, and I'm selling it for 75k, some people are selling for double, but this is my price, around that price, I can get 4.1 million for that one run, which is a lot. And now imagine if you have like 500 ACU, that how much that would be. And normally because of that, I'm also selling my Quantanium on UX Corp site. You can see the link up here on the top of the screen, but the actual link is gonna be in the description below the video. So if you really need Quantanium and you're not mining it yourself and you need it for Wiki Polaris, you can always buy from me if you want. And I'm constantly mining Quantanium even if nobody's buying, so I'm selling to TDDs if needed. But Quantanium is always there, and you know that I'm gonna mine it the most. So if you really need it, just friend me in Discord. That's the best way to get in contact, and my nickname is Manta1976. Just add me, send me message. I'm gonna respond the fastest through Discord because I'm gonna see it there, and we can make a deal. Last thing that I wanna guys say to you is that if you're a new player and you really want to learn everything about the mining, you can join my Discord and you can directly join me in voice chat, and I can teach everybody individually everything about mining. This is what I was doing, last 3-4 years constantly, right? We were doing other stuff, but my main thing is mining, and this is what I like the most, and I know every single thing about that. So I can teach you that. And also all what I earn basically now, I'm not even buying some ships anymore or spending in-game money for something special. So that's why I can actually, gift some of this money for you guys who wanna join and you wanna learn to buy yourself a starter prospector mining ship. They're not so expensive, they're under 3 million. So everyone who wants to learn and to join me to teach you, you will get enough money to buy your starting mining ship. So it's gonna be a little bit easier for you, and then we can all together go mine, and you can learn and have this real experience to see if you really like this and if that could be one of your paths how to earn money. I'm usually mining always in the Pyro now. In Pyro stations you can actually buy Prospector, so you can very quickly get it there if we meet up there and you wanna learn. This is all for now guys, and I hope this all information is gonna help you, and if you find this all information actually interesting and informative, normally please like, share and subscribe to my channel for more content. See you next time guys. Bye bye.